Story 1. Yes, of course, but not in the way I thought. It feels more like a caring for others type of love rather than the romantic love portrayed in movies. That type of love is starting to feel less real to me. Story 2. No doubt, my family is proof. My mom has put up with so much of my behavior. There's no way she would do that without love. I am a pacifist, but I would go to war for my sisters and niece. I genuinely love every cat that I meet. Story 3. I believe that it exists, and I am happy for the people who find it. But do I think that I will ever be one of them? Probably not. Story 4. Of course, I love my friends, family, and my cat. I have been in love before, but I don't believe that everyone finds romantic love. Story 5. Love at first sight? Soulmates? No. But love? Yes, I believe in love. Attraction is not love. Thus, love at first sight is misguided. Attraction at first sight can happen, of course. If that attraction leads to conversation and you find good chemistry, that is promising but not yet love. Love is nurtured. It develops after the initial excitement fades. Love can be damaged and repaired. It is only one piece of a relationship. Love is independent of whether the relationship is good or bad. You can love a flawed person. You can love someone who isn't right for you. Love is just part of the relationship puzzle. Therefore, the idea of love at first sight is one of the most damaging concepts to hold when seeking a relationship. Additionally, the notion that there is one single person or just a few people who were made specifically for you, and that this strong relationship is unique and unbreakable, is just as misguided. No one is made for anyone. No one exists solely to find you. No one is a perfect match. Your soulmate will annoy you. Your soulmate will make mistakes. You and your soulmate will hurt each other. What defines a soulmate is how two partners navigate those challenges. Any good person can do the right things in the right situations. That does not make anyone the one and only. You simply found a good person for you. Do not turn this into something overly sentimental that suggests all is perfect in a relationship with the right person. Story 6. No, because every time I have a discussion about dating, I encounter the idea that you have to be a certain way as a man for women to be attracted to you. A checklist is not love. Story 7. Love saved my life. It was 2002. I was 21. A closeted lesbian with untreated anxiety and depression. I was on a dark road, and my only light was the knowledge that one day I wouldn't be alive anymore. Then I entered a lesbian chat room and met a woman. We spoke for months on the phone, even though she lived 20 minutes away. I was terrified to meet her in person, but I couldn't stop communicating. Finally, she gave me an ultimatum. We would meet now or not speak anymore. So I met her, and we have been together since. Marriage, a house, children, but more importantly, stability, support, and unconditional love. We were meant to cross paths. She saved my life, and I make sure she knows how much I love her every day. Story 8. I believe in life after love. I can feel something inside me say that I really don't think you're strong enough. Story 9. Yes, but for others and not myself. I have seen people happy in their relationships, but every time I tried to receive love, I ended up being hurt. Love exists because people like me exist, who are born to give love and never truly receive it. Story 10. I used to think I married my best friend. He called me a crutch and told me I should be happy about that. I learned not long after that conversation that he cheated throughout our entire relationship. In the last couple of years, he was abusive and controlling, among many other issues. I still struggle with how I could give so much to one person for 8 years and not realize I was being used and cheated on. My experience has left me with little reason to trust many people, given my previous blindness. Story 11. Yes, I believe in love, but not the fairy tale kind. Real love requires effort, patience, and the commitment to be present even when it's difficult. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's simply a steady presence, and that's what makes it meaningful. Story 12. 1,000,000%. Love is what makes us human. It brings out the best in all of us. We learn to sacrifice and put the needs of others ahead of our own because of love. Love inspires, No matter how small the spark, it can cascade into something huge and beautiful. Love isn't always about romance, but if that's what the original poster is asking, then yes, there is someone for everyone. If you're trying too hard, stop. In time, it will come naturally. You just need to be patient. I'm nearly 30 and I'm 7 months into the best relationship ever, after being single for a long time before she came along. If you think it's not worth it, that is your opinion, and I respect that. But in my opinion, you're wrong. You just have yet to find that someone with whom you click, someone who shares your goals and values, and above all, faith in God. God is love, and if you have God, you have everything you need. Story 13. Listen, I hate to break it to you, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, then it slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. Your parents did it, I did it. Rise above. Focus on science. Story 14. Yes, I do. I was at least 2 times. However, you can love people for the wrong reasons or for reasons that may not exist at all. Even expressions of love can be misunderstood or misplaced. Story 15. Yes, I believe people sometimes think love is only romantic. However, it is so much more than that. Love for your family, love for your pets, and the joy of sitting in a cozy room reading a book. Love is not just about finding a partner and falling in love, even though that is wonderful too. It is about loving yourself and appreciating the world around you. It is about finding peace in small things. Story 16. I believe in love. I was madly in love once, and I still love this person and probably always will. I dislike that it took me over 40 years to finally understand what real love feels like. And honestly, I wish I had never experienced it at this point. The kind of love that makes your heart race, gives you butterflies, and makes you feel like you can't breathe without them. Even now, being apart, I still struggle every day, and that's how I know love is real. It's messy, it's painful, but it's undeniable. Story 17. Yes, because Cher asks if we believe in life after love. Therefore, there must be love if we are questioning life after it. Story 18. I believe in the kind of love a son has for his mother or father, but I don't believe in love that involves intimacy or sex. Story 19. Yes, but not the romantic kind. It mostly exists in the subtle language of platonic love, love for humanity, love for animals, love for food, and love for having hope and purpose. Waiting a little longer to say goodbye to someone you are not close to, being happy that your friend came to class today, enjoying a bowl of corn, watching a dog jump while walking, having hope that someday everything will make sense, or simply continuing to live one day at a time. What are these if not love? People have restricted the word love to mean only romantic love, but love extends far beyond that. Unfortunately, any love other than romantic love is not prioritized enough. Story 20. Sure, there are many different kinds of love, not just romantic love. I love dogs and cats. There are people in my life whom I love in a special friendship way. I appreciate beautiful sunsets, cookies, and the stars at night. While I have experienced challenges in my romantic life, I still see love exists in others, so I remain hopeful. Story 21. Yes, I do. I have been in love. However, it is something you must work on daily to maintain. Regular maintenance is absolutely necessary. I did not work on it myself and lost the love of my life a few months ago. Story 22. I don't believe in love because I know that it exists. It exists in sunshine and rain, snow and wind, in wildflowers and trees, birds and bees. Anywhere I go, love I shall find. Story 23. Not really. People, at their core, are self-serving creatures. The emotion of love is merely a state of excitement, fleeting and ever yearned for. Story 24. In this generation, especially with social media glorifying soft life aesthetics and a get-the-bag culture, some women confuse love with lifestyle. In that confusion, truth gets sacrificed. Men believe you are in love with them when, in actuality, you are just with them for financial gains. Story 25. It exists. I love a married man and try to let go because he has a wife and is happy with her. I know it's real because my heart breaks every time I see him smile with her. It is both beautiful and horrible at the same time. I hate it. Story 26. I understand that not everyone loves in the same way, and I'm not referring to love languages. I have observed that men are often more willing to sacrifice their personal happiness, whether temporary or not, for the happiness of others. In contrast, women may initially attempt to do the same but may eventually prioritize their own happiness when it becomes overwhelming. Story 27. Yes, I believe in it. Has anyone ever actually loved me or truly felt love? Now, people in their mid-30s only love me for what I do, not for who I am. Story 28. Yes, I have been in love and I have been loved. If you are referring to the romantic kind, that is one aspect. However, there is also love for family and friends, especially grandchildren. Story 29. I believe it varies from person to person. I particularly don't see myself as someone who can be loved romantically, only in terms of friendship and family love. Story 30. Yes, because I was in love once, from the age of 13 to 24, with a guy named Michael. I had such intense feelings for him. Though I fell out of it, the same nice feelings come back occasionally, and every once in a while he comes to mind. Story 31. The number of people here who haven't felt love or believe they will never love someone is concerning. It says a lot about society today. Story 32. Yes, I do. It is the one thing that can turn the smallest moments into something unforgettable, even when everything else seems temporary. Story 33. Yes, I have been in love, so I do believe in it deep down. It has been so long that I am starting to lose sight of whether it is even real or meant for me. Story 34. I was a hopeless romantic. I used to believe in fairy tale love. There is one person destined for you, and when you find that person, everything is perfect and beautiful, and you are supposed to be together. However, I no longer hold that belief. I think of love as a matter of compatibility. Some people are truly well suited for each other, but there is no single person destined for anyone. Story 35. I believe that the only existing love that is unconditional is the parent-child relationship. A good parent loves their child no matter what they do. However, if you do not put enough effort into your relationship with your partner, love can fade, and you may feel alone again. When you lose your parents, you lose the only truly loving people in your life. Story 36. I am a hopeless romantic at heart. I have seen love, felt love, and been in love. Love isn't just romantic. I also have love for my family, friends, pets, and favorite films. What is not to believe in? Story 37. I have been in love and know that it is real. I also appreciate how I act and behave when I am in love. Being in love and being loved are the best experiences in life. Story 38. Yes, every time I thought I felt love, I was wrong. Until I met my husband, I now know what love really is. Sometimes you think you know, but you don't, not until you meet the one. Even then, it may not be obvious at the start. It takes time to cultivate and deepen. Story 39. Credo nell'amore, ma più come una connessione profonda che va oltre le parole. È quel momento in cui senti che qualcuno ti capisce senza bisogno di dirlo. Lo trovo assolutamente irresistibile, come una sfida affascinante che vale la pena vivere ogni volta. Story 40. I do passionately. I've never been with anyone. I loved once before, but it wasn't mutual. Still, I dream of love and believe in it because of how I love and want to give love. Story 41. Absolutely, just look into your dog's eyes. The purest love there is. Total love that never fades. The purest form of love. Story 42. Well, I am not in a position to speak about this topic, but I do have an opinion. I have never talked to members of the opposite gender except for family, and I mean literally. I don't believe in love, not even 1%. I also saw this online, and I believe it's true that people are attracted to certain qualities in others, not to the individuals themselves. We could never truly love someone. Story 43. I do not believe in love. I never have and I never will. I do not believe in love. It is never worth the pain that one feels. Story 44. I am 28 and going through a divorce. I was in the relationship since I was 23 and married since 2021. I still believe in love even though that relationship has lost its spark, at least enough to come to an end. I won't give up on love just yet. I want to work on myself to be a better partner in the future and to ensure that a relationship does not become my whole identity, which is essentially what I ended up doing and the main reason I feel so lost right now. It has only been 3 months, but I still haven't fully discovered who I am again. It is not healthy to live your whole life for the happiness of someone else. That can wear you down, and when you give everything and it still isn't enough, you will end up exhausting your partner as well. There is a balance that we just didn't manage to find. We probably married too quickly and too young, but I would still do it all over again. Story 45. I love my friends and family, but as far as romance goes, I gave it a shot. I really did, and it destroyed me. Accepting love into your life is the same as accepting life-altering loss. Falling in love is like going into debt, and eventually someone has to pay, whether that be a divorce or the loss of a loved one. Someone I loved for 2.5 years caused me so much pain that 3.5 years later, I still struggle with things like post-traumatic stress disorder. What kind of investment was that? I was careful too. Some people hide their intentions and change their personalities once they have you hooked. I never want to fall in love again. So yes, it's real, but it's not what you think it is. It will mess you up. Story 46. To some extent, I believe you will always need money first before it is worth trying to find it, especially if you want to maintain the relationship. Story 47. It's difficult for me as I grew up in a very unloving household. Today, I have borderline personality disorder, so my relationships are intertwined with my self-esteem and identity. I do love people, but it's challenging to know how genuine those feelings are. Story 48. I believe we fall in love as nature's way of giving us that extra push to find people we are compatible with. For me, after falling in love, a healthy relationship is a combination of choices, navigating challenging life events, and accepting each other. Love is not the answer. Love is like an entry ticket. You still have to buy drinks, popcorn, engage with the people you are with, and so forth. Now, here I go, feeling the urge to get this off my chest. Long read incoming. I had the privilege of falling in love a few times. The first was love, but we were too young to truly understand that it is more than just butterflies. We stopped building on that foundation, and that was it. I fell in love later in life, but after a year or two, all that was left was the idea of what that love could be. I held on to the potential of that love for 7 heartbreaking years until I no longer wanted to chase dying butterflies. I pulled the plug, and I didn't even mourn it for a second. The only thing I was sad about was that it took me so long to finally decide we deserved another life. My ex built a new life, and I can see he is happy again. He is the man I used to love, and I am who I used to be. It makes me think of Robin and Barney in How I Met Your Mother. We couldn't help each other find the best in ourselves. Then, I fell in love again on a different level. I continued the life I built on my own, and organically he just fits in. I didn't change myself a bit, and neither did he. We accept and complement each other. We feel like best friends, with amazing benefits, honestly. And I never doubted my relationship again. And no, he is not perfect, and neither am I. But we are in this happy chaos called life together, and because of that, we can handle it. So I guess I believe in love. But love does not equal a healthy relationship. Therefore, I don't believe in the romantic comedy love that will always find its way, no matter what. If that makes any sense. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Story 49. No, I don't believe in love anymore. Nowadays, I see people cheating on their committed partners after years together. I have lost faith in love. Story 50. No, at least not healthy love. The only times I have seen women love men was when the man was abusive. If he is not abusive, she walks all over him and does not sexually desire him. She probably even cheats on him. This has led me to think love is a false concept created by insincere people to torture me, or that I do not want to be loved because I would have to be abusive. I have never been loved. I have loved a few times. It just seems like a great way to mentally ruin someone. You do not receive love, but all the terrible people are loved unconditionally. Story 51. Yes, I do. I haven't experienced it yet, romantically at least, but I see how my parents look at each other. So I know it's real and that it's out there. I know I have a lot of love to give, just waiting for someone who is ready to receive it. Story 52. I used to believe in love because I thought there was such a thing as true love or unconditional love between two people. I yearned for it and thought I had it, only to be blindsided by a 3-foot cactus moving at the speed of sound. Story 53. Yes, absolutely. I know this because I am the biggest lover girl in the world. But do we all get to experience it? Absolutely not. Take it from me. Story 54. Of course, I believe in love. You see it everywhere. Parents making sure their kids have a jacket, someone cooking their partner's favorite meal after a hard day, a friend leaving a party early to take another friend home because they had too much to drink, a dog resting its chin on its owner's knee and sighing with contentment. Love is everywhere. We often see an idealized depiction of love in media. In real life, love can be complicated and confusing, not always making sense, but it exists in a million ways. Story 55. Not much is said about love, but it's important to focus on understanding each other and supporting one another. I mean, I can't always be 100% in love with someone, but it's essential to be good to each other for the rest of our lives. I don't expect him to love me all the time, but I hope that if he is honest with me, we can either part ways amicably or continue our lives as good friends who can depend on each other. Story 56. I believe people can love each other. However, fewer people seem to believe in true love. Story 57. It took me 28 years to believe in it. I spent most of my life thinking it was just chemicals in our brains until I found myself driving 2 hours at midnight just to give my boyfriend a hug after his dog died. That's when I knew. Story 58. No, not at all. Most people won't like this, but I believe it's not a natural emotion. It's a learned behavior. Story 59. No. Anyone I feel attracted to is undermined by the person I have made clear I would do anything for. Story 60. Yes, but not as much as people claim to be in love or get married. I believe the condition of love requires much more respect and dignity and should not be taken as lightly as it is today. The heart and trust of another person are precious and should be regarded as an honor to receive, not a fleeting encounter. Story 61. Yes, love exists. I love my boyfriend, and he loves me. I am in love, and that is what I care about. Wherever love exists, there is joy, happiness, and goodness. Story 62. Yes, I believe love is more than a feeling. It is a combination of feeling safe, known, understood, accepted, embraced, and protected in our most vulnerable states of being. Love involves effort to improve and a nurtured sense of belonging and mutual passion. I think love is shared growth and peace when sitting still. I believe in love. My heart knows what love is. I have felt it before and written poetry about it years ago. Story 63. One person, 8 years ago, caught my attention. It became clear that I wasn't attracted to anyone else for a while. Story 64. I believe that love is not directly related to a loving disagreement, but rather a pure and genuine feeling for something or someone. Many people associate love with something superficial, the result of a shallow or fleeting relationship. Love is found in small acts, in memories, and in people. So yes, I believe in love. Story 65. Because only something like love could make me so confident in my decision to love. When there is loss and my heart breaks, I am so sure I would do it all again, knowing my heart would break again. Right now, I know I love my cat because despite having to let her go to stop her pain, I would do it all again despite the emotional cost at the end. Story 66. I believe in love, just like I believe in the moon, the stars, the sun, the wind, and all the other magical forces of nature that I barely comprehend. Story 67. I believe in love. After my relationship ended, I had a hard time thinking about love, but I am believing in it again. Not everyone is like my ex, and I should embrace meeting new people. Story 68. If you mean the experience of love, then certainly. I have been in love and others have said the same. If you mean love as a special force in the universe, then no. That is ridiculous for a myriad of reasons. Story 69, yes, absolutely. However, I believe it is incredibly difficult to find two people who truly love each other fully and faithfully. If you find it, cherish it, and do not let it go. Story 70, I know it exists. I used to be in love with my ex-wife, but people change. Sometimes it is better to cut ties than to stay in a dying relationship. I wish I had realized that sooner, but hindsight is what it is. Story 71. Maybe it is interesting to listen to everyone's definition of love. How exactly is it different from infatuation and lust? The Bible refers to 4 types of love: agape, eros, philia, and storge. Even more interesting is how long the different types of love last. Story 72. Yes, I believe love exists in many different forms. But I guess this is about romantic love? I also believe in that because I am currently experiencing it. Honestly, I might have answered differently a year ago. I do not experience the falling hard and immediately type of attraction to people, which many think of as falling in love. I have never felt a true connection to anyone I have dated before my current partner. It was only last year, at age 33, that I finally got to know someone with whom I felt that connection and could open my heart. Note that I said got to know instead of met, because to me, falling in love is a process I have to actively allow, not an event that happens involuntarily as it is often described, which is not valid for me. What I am trying to say is that if you are doubtful about love, then maybe you are just expecting the wrong thing. Story 73. Well, I did, but when someone says hateful things and then switches to being loving and wants you to communicate, and you send a letter that you know they have read but don't respond, you realize they just aren't going to say anything. This demonstrates that they think love is a joke and can be played with. I wrote to you and there was no response. I'm sure it will be the same. I miss you and love you, but I have moved on. Once again, it feels like a joke, an option. So I will move on. I hope you find what you are looking for with everyone choosing for you. Story 74. Always have, always will. What changes for me is how to. This has always been the question. We all know that when we are little, before our minds soak up everything around us. Story 75. I believe it exists. I feel love for friends and family members, but I am not sure I have ever felt or am capable of romantic love. I just don't understand it. Story 76. What type of love is it? Infatuation or the commitment to choose someone regardless of life's circumstances? Both types exist. Infatuation is more common and easier. Story 77. I still believe in love. This seems to be a thing of the past. However, if you have felt love in prior relationships, you are likely to find love again. I am not confusing love with lust. Story 78. Yes, I do, because I am in love, and when someone is in love, they feel and live every moment of their love life. As people imagine, in love, individuals become creative and humble. As a boy, when I fall in love, I feel I become a more responsible person and start speaking wisely to everyone. I did not always behave like a gentleman to everyone. For me, love teaches me a lot. So love deeply and make every effort for the person you love to be in your life. But if it does not happen, that's okay. Life goes on. Story 79. There are different types of love: erotic love, friendship, and familial love, among others. I am certain that a deep, unconditional love for friends and humanity exists. However, I would not consider romantic feelings to be love. Story 80. I believe in love because for the last year and a half, I have been in a relationship with a guy who loves me more than he loves himself. He has his flaws and we do have arguments. In fact, we had one today. However, he understands and apologized to me. I love him deeply, and because of him, I believe in love. It exists, and it is not always beautiful. It comes with hardships, but it is what keeps me alive. Story 81. I blame black men, but every other race is a little more acceptable. With them, you have a better chance than with a worm. Story 82. Love is any positive emotion that is strong enough to immediately override logic. It does not require belief. It is a fact of nature. Even if you are so depressed that you cannot feel or express love, claiming that you do not believe in it is like a blind person saying they do not believe in the sun while it warms their face. Story 83. I believe in love completely, not just because of the love I have received, but also because of the love I have felt for others. This understanding affirms its existence. I can and do love beyond what I receive. It doesn't require reciprocation for me to know it exists. Story 84. I am going on a first date in 30 minutes for the first time in 4 years. So yes, I love love. Even if the date does not go well and we do not like each other, I am happy to share time with the person. Story 85. I'm truly sorry for those of you who didn't experience a mother's love, but for many of us, it taught us what love is. We embody love. Story 86. I believed in true love once. Then I had to let that love go. Now I believe in temporary romances. Being hurt like that makes you hesitant to give yourself fully again. Story 87. A definition is needed to determine whether you believe in it or not. Love means different things to different people. Story 88. Only mutual. Otherwise, it's a one-sided obsession. A bond can only develop when both parties are actively involved. Story 89. Not anymore. Honestly, love is just a feeling, a temporary one nonetheless, or an excuse to hurt someone in its name. Maybe it does exist, but to me, the real thing is commitment and wanting to be with one person. That is true love. Other than that, I think nowadays love is just lust. That's all. Story 90. Entering a corporate office can make you question if love even exists, given the prevalence of extramarital affairs. So, let's just say I'm skeptical. Story 91. I don't have trouble finding a man who loves me. Instead, I often reach a point where my feelings for them diminish. I believe in love for others because I witness it consistently in my friends' relationships. Story 92. I have seen it with my late grandparents on my father's side. I have experienced falling in love once. It was special. However, now I feel much worse than I did back then and am self-isolating because I may have ruined it for myself, and I do not want to burden anyone. Story 93. Love can be formed in many relationships. Friends, children, and family. True love and soulmates exist. I believe we can connect more with a soul we knew in a past life. That doesn't mean we belong together forever. Story 94. You cannot deny the existence of love. Love is a combination of chemicals released in your body when you interact with someone you associate with happiness and positive experiences. However, true love is often seen as irrational and not genuine. The idea of being destined to be together is nonsense. It is all just a series of coincidences. Story 95. Yes, it's everywhere. My nephew and my pets are just little balls of love. How could you not fall in love with them constantly? It's in the little things others do for you and what you do for them. I've struggled with depression for years, and though I'm much better now, if I didn't have the love and support of others, I would never have learned to love myself and appreciate the small things. In summary, I know it exists because it's everywhere, and I feel it daily from myself and others. Story 96. I thought I knew what love was, but now I believe it's merely emotional attachment and fleeting excitement for a few months. When that person leaves, you realize it wasn't love. It was a daydream that felt good at the time. It's not love. It's just a misconception. Humans have a desire to find a partner and feel complete, but it's ultimately just a feeling, and you can live without it. It's all just a game of the mind. Story 97. I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. I believe in a thing called love. Du-du-du-be-du. Ha! Air guitar. Story 98. I have fallen in love. I have an indescribable love for my little brothers and friends from high school. Story 99. I have never been loved or shown love by my parents or anyone. Honestly, I have no idea what that emotion feels like. It seems like a double-edged sword to me. Story 100. Not anymore. It is fleeting and conditional between a man and a woman. I believe it exists between parent and child, as well as between siblings, though. Story 101. You can love practically anyone you spend enough time with. It's compatibility that eludes most individuals. Story 102. Yes, I completely believe in love. I can't tell her, but I'm fairly sure I'm in love with my best friend. I was thinking about her and got such bad butterflies that I felt nauseous. It was somehow the best feeling ever. Story 103. Love is a broad concept, and you would struggle to find anyone who doesn't believe in some element of it. Story 104. I have been in love before, even though in the end it wasn't forever. It was such a beautiful experience while it lasted. I hope to find a greater love one day. Story 105. I believe that people can experience love. It is a rare occurrence because many others tend to be selfish. Story 106. Well, I mean, yes, for others, but for me? No. Why? I have been single my whole life, and I am talking about never having been on a date before either. And I know it won't happen. Story 107. Yes, I got to see my parents embody their love, both romantically and erotically, until the days they died. In this regard, I was fortunate enough to witness that love isn't always a scam or a crutch. Story 108. Yes, I believe in real love. It is where I feel safe, loved, trusted, respected, and worthy. It makes life feel lighter and more beautiful. Story 109. Yes, I do, only for cars though. When I met my Mustang in 2018, I fell in love instantly. When I drove it for the first time, I kissed the steering wheel and stayed in the garage all day, just looking at it. I now consider it my wife and love her with everything I have. Story 110. Romance can be confusing. Infatuation is often misleading. However, love is genuine. It endures even after a person is gone. While this may not be the best measure, I can assure you of the reality of love. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.